Ba-da-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum. Bum-bum, bum-bum. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bum, bum, bum. Hello everyone! So hopefully all the sound setup is working. Hopefully the refresh hasn't changed things. And oh my lord, they've given me a new map. It's 1.5, baby. I should not be so happy about this. Oh. Yeah, and oh. The world map now looks good. I've got a new mini-map in the corner. I'm happy about this. Hello, Wayne. I've got a log down here. That'll do. It's a bit more cluttered than I'd like it, maybe. But, you know, I've got my details. All my information is here. I'm not sure I really need all my information. Honestly, it is a bit cluttered. But I will take it. I will take it. Hi, Wayne. How you doing? How goes everyone today? How is everyone? Can I just ask a small question? Why, in the name of all things futuristic, are they mining in here? Hello, Paul. Hello, Cameron. Yeah. I like this. I do like. Please, I like this. I'm just not sure I need this down here as well. Log is nice. I understand the log, but I never really use the log for much because if I want to see that data, I go to here. Rangefinders, I've got all that. What's the special machinery they're working on? Ooh, ducted propeller. Ooh, that could be tempting. That's tempting. Ducted propeller is the one to beat. Okay, submarine hulls is already a month away, and that's going to be ocean-going submarine 4. That's not really a problem with me. Submarine improvements. What is it going to give me? Silent-proof tubes. Tempting, but honestly, I'm not actually using my submarines that much. ASW Warfare, what's it going? Ooh, depth charges, Type 5. Tempting, but again, it's coming in 13 months, and let's be honest, if we go back to the politics, I am the one with the submarine force. No one else really has it. So, yeah. Ducted propellers. That's it. It was the one to beat, and it's the one to get it. Yeah, let's win this. But I don't care what the other countries have laid down. This is the trouble. This is the problem. Let's get started. In this game, I am Britain. Okay? I don't care what other countries have laid down particularly. I want their numbers, but I don't care the specific capabilities unless I'm trying to make a sales case for something. Italy's got a 16¼ inch gun, so I have to have a 16¼ inch gun. That is when I care about their stats. The rest... C'est la vie. And I can say that because I'm currently beating up France. I have re-established the Angevin Empire. Hello, Cedar Karen. So how is everyone doing today? How goes the world? On Mothering Sunday, by the way. For those who don't know, in the UK, today is Mother's Day, Mothering Sunday. And I have been kicked out the kitchen because my sister is cooking. Which is why I'm starting this early today. Because I'm allowed nowhere near the kitchen. And my mother, on Mothering Sunday, is watching my sister. This is the same sister who forgot to marinate the meat. I don't care if the army's losing things. Oh, there's a submarine match going on. I'll just fight it, enjoy. Oh, okay. Now this is looking good. So, I want to invade the Balearic Islands. Yes. This is going to be fun. It is going to be fun. Because let's be honest, if I get the Balearic Islands, that gives me control of this area. I just need to make sure I have a fleet nearby enough that I can do it. They're my pre-drawn correction. I really don't want to send them to it. I could probably send them to it, but I think what I will do with them instead is send them to Gibraltar area. But these fleets, I will send these. That's Portugal. And anything else? Oh, of course, in Barcelona. I have my own fleet in the Barcelona line. Yes, I do. Oh, yes. Yep. Canada, Formidable Lion, all these ships. They will go. Currently building 10 battle cruisers. Of course, they're my heavy cruisers, but that's what I'm going to use them as, but they are officially battle cruisers. Let's see. What do you mean? What software am I using? I can read all the text on 720. I'm using OBS and I'm broadcasting in HD, so I'm not sure what's happening, Wayne. Let's go to the research. Special machinery. There you go, ducted propeller. Marine fitted a marine propeller fitted with non-rotating nozzle can be improved in overall efficiency. What speech to text software? Oh, I don't use any speech to text software. It produces automatically. That's Twitch trying to translate my accent. That's just Twitch. That's not me. I do not. I have, in nicest way, if Dragon Naturally Speaking performed as badly as some of these softwares did, I would have absolutely murdered my computers a few times over. Hello, Leslie. If the army loses too much, you have to fight insurgencies. Yes, that would explain why unrest is currently as high as it is, because of the army losing stuff. I'm going to have to deal with that at some point. There are still a few French left, yes. But the point is, I don't think the Balearic Islands are going to be much of a problem for me once I invade them. And then when the invasion starts on them, then I'm going to look at what's next. Oh, this is so not good for them. This is not the fight they should have taken on, okay, today? This is not the fight. Twitch is working hard on the comedy. Twitch often works hard on the comedy, let's be honest. There is me. And trying to keep up with me is fun for Twitch. You know, I even have fun with YouTube, and I preload the videos up there and they're going, what the frick? I have been known to occasionally go, should I actually go into the script? Should I go into the script and try and sort it out for it? And then I think, no. Because that will ruin the comedy. So, this battle, I could say it's going to be a turkey shoot, but that's being called turkeys. This is going to be interesting. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Malaga. Won the Manchester Dojo Kyoto for the second time this year. Cool. Very good. So, yeah, I'm just going to... What we're going to do is, you lot are going to go into a breast formation. You're going to avoid torpedoes. And we're going to take you down to roughly 26 knots. Okay? You... And you... That works. Avoid and screen. So, am I the only one who also agrees that this is absolutely, possibly, a little bit evil of me? Because this is just... Okay, this is 4 battleships you didn't want to come across. That's got 9 15-inch guns forward. Canada's got 12 15-inch guns, of which 6 are firing forward. That's got 9 firing forward. And that's got 9 firing forward. If I was the enemy, I'd be running. No, I never understood the scouting wrong UAD. You would assume that, but in UAD, they've got the screening starting to work okay, and this is, as you can see, version 1.5. But yeah, they still haven't quite got the scouting role doing quite right. And also, you have to have the ships have to have sufficient speed advantage to do it. So you're talking about ships needing a 6 to 9 knot speed advantage to really be able to do scouting properly. That's what drove a lot of the Royal Navy cruiser speed requirements, was to have a sufficient scouting speed over the battle fleet. And the same with destroyer requirements. Been playing the French. Wine and cheese at 5 PM every day, getting ready to go Napoleon. Sounds good. What are you not doing? Do I have to make you guys, you all go into a head? and accelerate to full speed. They are quite concertedly running away from me. I can see them at 36.8 kilometers. My 15-inch guns have a range of 34.1 kilometers. And we're about to be in range. And I can see their smoke trails. Top speed's 25.6 knots. Okay. And it's probably doing that, and it's keeping at the front. So as long as I'm doing faster than 25.6 knots, if I go to 27 knots, I won't lose them. I'll continue to wear them in, but my shooting accuracy will go up dramatically. And I'm going to put you on AI attack, and I'm just going to put you all up to full speed and tell you to go in. Because I think that'll slow them down a bit. So that ship can do maximum 25.6 knots. This is identifying at 45%, 46%, but it's not going faster, is it? No. Oh. That looks like a flare-class corvette. Maybe a sloop. Not a little destroyer. That's a pugnacious little destroyer. I quite like that little ship. I almost don't want to sink it. I will still sink it, but, you know, I quite like it. Oh, yeah. Usually my crews are barely the same speed as my battleships. Yeah. That's a problem. They can't get ahead of your battleships to scout for them. Here's a what if. What if a Washington Treaty set limits on aircraft size number of aircraft operable rather than displacement? You'd have completely you'd have completely destroyed the development of aircraft. But that was the problem, because, as it was said, the moment this is one of the things which is missed in the whole treaty saga in the interwar years. Every time they tried to do an aircraft treaty, a treaty on aircraft, they just were defeated by the reality of it. No, version 1.5 did not remove the campaign saves. They are very close to being in 6-inch gun range. Why would I want to end battle? I'm winning! They're running from me! You think those are light cruisers? They are destroyers. And not as cute as that destroyer over there. Now, these running over here are probably the light cruisers. They're running as fast as they can go. But I'm going to be able to destroy the heavy cruiser, the three destroyers, and the torpedo boat. And that will do me. And I might get the light cruiser, because that's not as far away from it as it would like to think. Oh, that's really not as far away from it itself as it would like to think. Oh, that's not good for him, are they? Oh. Once they're in 6-inch gun range, this is not going to be pretty. Oh, one of them is in 6-inch gun range. Well, they're in some things range, almost in 6-inch gun range. This is just not getting pretty, is it? Yeah, the 1.5 did a lot better than the 1.4 and the 1.3 in not deleting your previous game saves. They must have managed to fix that particular joyous feature. I do a good job. As I said, the screen is at points a bit cluttered. I'm always starting to wonder whether you need a bigger screen to play this game, just so those things are not quite as in your way as they are on the screen. You are a heavy cruiser and you are putting up doughty effort. But the thing is, any one of those 15-inch shells actually hits, you're in a lot of trouble. Oh, maybe it's 6-inch gun range they're getting into. I forgot about you all. What the frick are you up to? Keep going. They're almost in 3-inch gun range. They are soon going to be in 6-inch gun range. That is, if I was that destroyer, I'd be crying about now. I'd be going, there are so many 6-inch guns coming my way. This is just not nice. Take care, Wayne. Enjoy playing the doggy paws. I'm not sure. Are they diving in closer or something? Are they trying to maneuver to avoid things? Are they coming round to attack into the face of horrendous 6-inch gunfire? I mean, literally. That's just... This is not gonna... Just watch the 6-inch gun. Yeah, they're coming in for an attack. Okay, formidable. want you to detach. And you are going to be going a proceeding under your own steam. Division 1 with me, full steam. Just go look after yourself. Oh, Canada's also damaged. Okay. Canada, go to that one. You two. Magnificent. Leon. You're with me. Well, you are completely supposed to be doing what you're doing. And hang on, you two are doing what? Putting on to 18 knots, and you two can stay together as a defensive formation. Oh. I did an idea about how, if offshore drilling had been a thing, how would it affect the treaties? Ireland would need lots of fleets. Oh, if offshore drilling had been a thing, the Ireland fleet would have been massive. Jacob, I was reading a news article from a journalist with a calculation on how the new Dutch air defence frigates, they guessed the top speed at 25 knots because they have to be able to keep up with us, US and UK carriers in light of what we discussed. But at speed, further on Discord, I was laughing. Or they'll be too slow, or they go a lot faster. Yeah, 25 knots, no. No. I'm not sure who thought 25 knots is the speed that those ships will need to be, but that's very, very slow. Jonathan, who are you playing as if you have such a weak trade ship capacity? Okay, the Acton's gone. Oh, I sunk the cute one. That was the cute pugnacious destroyer I quite like the look of. Ah, well, sorry, you're sunk. Yep, let's just keep going. They're going to be in 6-inch gun range soon, aren't they? They really are. We're doing 32 knots. They can manage a top speed of 25.6. This is not even fair. This is not a battle. This is a massacre. And yes, they have thrown their entire chance into one blow. And honestly, that could have been better timed. It did do maximum disruption. It might have bought the time for their light cruisers to escape. Okay, I would report that bug, because your merchant fleet should not be that small. Ah, there's the destroyer. Has no more torpedoes left. That's bad for it. This does have torpedoes left. I will have to watch out for its torpedoes. Basically, my plan is to sidle up beside them at full speed and just keep blasting with 6-inch gunfire. How are you two doing? Oh, you're gamely popping along as well. Canada is out, has 15-inch gun ammo. Formidable is out of 15-inch gun ammo. Oh my lord! I built a ship that solid it survived the blowing up its own ammunition. I'd like this to be recorded. My design was solid enough, its entire main magazine blew up, and it is still afloat. And its structural integrity is 49%. I would like this recorded. I have produced Armageddon in ship form. Thank you, Kofi. Actually, speaking of Kofi, I am actually running short of Iron Brew, so the Kofi's thing of buy me a brew is really, really on track today. But that's only because the delivery I ordered this morning, because I checked the vegetables. I'm not going to say I have been trying to backseat drive my sister's cooking today. But I might have checked the fridge, looked at the vegetables and decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do something I'm going to make sure she has decent veg to use. So I ordered some of those from Sainsbury's and those things. But no Iron Brew arrived. I ordered Iron Brew and it didn't arrive. It's terrible. I was tempted to actually go down to Sainsbury's myself, and then I remembered it's Sunday morning, it's Mothering Sunday. Do I want to be deluged by that many people who are going to be doing that much obsession, going, "Ah, I forgot it was Mothering Sunday"? And there are going to be a lot of them, let's be honest, there are going to be a lot of them. Oh, that ship's wrecked. That ship is wrecked. Certain points you surrender. I'm not sure if you can actually... I think there is space for you to get on deck and hoist the white flag. Now, if I remember correctly, there is a destroyer somewhere in this direction. Seem to remember the destroyer was making off in this direction. Hello, destroyer! Your top speed is 38.5 knots. Not with that level of damage, it doesn't. And that was good, though. That's actually good. If your top speed is 38.5 knots, you're doing well. This is the point. This destroyer can actually do scouting for my cruisers. Have you been doing all the research around trade protection around your merchant ships? Because there is now research as a factor in your trade protection. Are you gonna... This has all be done with 15-inch shell fire. Oh, this was cruel. Oh, this was cruel. This is cruel. Cruelty, cruelty, cruelty. Oh, why am I so cruel? This poor destroyer. I'm feeling sorry for its crew. Not only do they have a pretty ugly looking ship to work from. Because let's be honest, this was not the finest design. In terms of looks. But they're out of torpedoes. And they're getting mullered by 15-inch gun... That's not any protection. Yes, it's making smoke. That's no protection. in the battle there. Formidable needs to be sent to someone to get repairs. Okay. So let me just make sure I've got move, invasion. So, what was I going to do? Yes, research. Now, if we go down to... Where is it? Is it Maneuver Warfare? Yeah, our merchant cruisers. So, if you are doing the research in the Maneuver Warfare section, you go down there, you should find armed merchant cruisers. And convoy system. And these things are all essential for keeping your merchant ships up to scratch and being able to do more of them. Finances-wise, my transport capacity is at 162%, and that's pretty much where it can max out at. Almost. You can keep putting in more, but, you know, there's only so much more it can do than it will do historically, because what you're doing is you're funding the merchant marine, basically, to have more resilience. It's a very sensible thing to do, but, you know, there's a certain level at which the companies would rather pocket the money than have more ships. So, historically, it's kind of right in the way it sort of peters out at certain points. What am I looking for? Hi, Spike! Don't need to worry about that. What do I want? Anything here? What am I doing in the armor forge? Oh, improved slope armor. Oh, that would be good. That's going to be so good. What's the engines? Anyone know what I'm going to work on next in engines? I don't know what I'm going to work on next in engines. Hull strength. Advanced hull materials free. Tempting to put the emphasis on that. Mechanisms. What's coming next? No one's quite sure. We won't bother about that then. Big guns. What's next? 17-inch, 16-inch I got up to Mark 3, 7-inch I got up to Mark 1. I presume that's going to be the 18-inch. I think that's going to be the 18-inch. Hey, Gaza14, thank you for subscribing to the channel for 12 months. Diesel 2 is next. Ooh. Diesel 2 could be tempting, but I'm going to keep with the big guns. I'm going to keep the big guns. It's sensible to keep with the big guns. Now. got a lot of ship repairs going on. And building my honest heavy cruiser is coming through. Well, yeah, normally it goes Mark 1, Mark 1s, and then the Mark 2s come in, etc. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Still, I prefer to put the emphasis on gun design, because, you know, I'd like a nice 18-inch gun at this point. What do I think about new hulls? Haven't really played around them much yet, because none of my new ships have come into service yet on this one. Chinese torpedo battleships are insane. Haven't come up against them. I should really literally, my software, I was doing some testing, so I held off the upgrade until I'd finished the testing. So I'd done all the testing for something I was doing on the same level. And then I did a whole bunch of other things. And it was only this morning when I came in and was sort of, before we started, I went, oh, it's due to upgrade, isn't it? Oh, I'll let it upgrade and I'll see what's going on. So I've literally, this is the first time I've used UAD since I upgraded to 1.5. Let's fight this battle and see what happens. I don't think this is going to be a good battle for the French if they want to actually fight it. If they choose to run away, it could work. It could. Division of Walton. Ah, yes. I have to admit, I've been having fun. As some of you watch my YouTube channel know, I've been doing some videos about, you know, science fiction, space carriers in space, science fiction. And I was having a chat with Glyn Stewart and the Shipshape crew last night about it, and Glyn pointed out that in one of his books, which actually I do use in the series, the fighters weigh 3,000 tons. So they're not exactly small things, or what we would call a fighter in most of our scenarios these days. This is going to be a massacre, isn't it? Oh my goodness gracious me! This is going to be a massacre. Okay. So. Go hunting. 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 So the fighter is definitely a KKV. Well, that's the point. That's the point. You at a certain point, when we're talking about carriers, if we have a fast and light system, a drive system that works, that provides for a realistic scenario with a carrier, and this is what I found really interesting about some of the comments, because some of the people have no problems with fast and light travel, but they have problems with us actually having a radiator, being able to radiate the heat from a spacecraft, so we could accommodate the extra crew required for a carrier. And I was going, so your first problem isn't the ability to travel faster than light. Your problem is, can we design a method of temperature control? There is a thing which is an order of magnitude higher here, which should probably be the first issue. They all are... Yeah. And before anyone asks, why am I grouping them together like this? It's so I can basically put all the fast destroyers in one group. So I have sent off my 9 fastest destroyers on a hunting mission. Let's see how they do. Remember, the person who is so diametrically opposed to the concept of Space One character, they watch both your videos. Yes. Hello, Ronan. Cosman, I find the growth food and I never see toilets outside the Farscape more worrying. There are so many issues with Farscape. Oh. So many issues with Farscape. Where is the enemy? Automatic change of group leader. If there's a problem. That's interesting. I did not want to. Well, you see, that was the thing. My theory was that basically, with missiles, etc., kind of like in the Star Wars universe, they had developed such advanced levels of ECM that missile systems weren't really a viable option for them for long range strikes. And the whole point was, you didn't want to get into a slogging match with your capital ships. Look, instead of doing the avoiding torpedo thing, just move. A 100 foot didn't go as far as you thought it would. Well, that's kind of normal, Runon. I'm only going to say that from what I hear from my cousins, apparently most men tend to think most men tend to think things are larger than they actually are. I'm the only boy in 40 cousins. I have no idea what they were talking about, but apparently that's their common view with men. Most men overestimate the size of things. Cool, Jonathan Moon. I'm fed up with hunting on them. Those are the older ones, yes. They are the cousins of my generation, not their children. uh... Remember, I can guarantee that my dysphoria means that's not a problem the same way as your cousin's crime. Oh. This is not good for them. Three light cruisers versus that lot is just not a good fight for them. Hello. Where is Sorokini? Now, he was a good admiral. Not as good as the one who I'm currently trying to track down at the moment. We'll leave that to one side. I have an admiral who I want to do an example of what next year's year of leadership, key people, key persons is going to be like. And, yeah. It's going to be interesting. It really will be interesting. But it's a case of finding out the details about him. I want his papers. I want his papers. and watching the chat and going, this is going well. Oh yeah, there does seem quite a lot of the Discord group turns up to the Twitter chat. Quite a lot of the group turns up, and for those who watch Twitch but don't realise, on YouTube on Thursdays after I do the live, I always turn up in Discord and host a general chat to talk about naval history and all sorts of other things. Runon tends to bring along quite a lot of experience of ranting about electrical goods and dealing with being an electrician and dealing with the joys of people who have spicy approaches to wiring. There will be some fictional personalities in there next year, some fictional ones. I am probably going to do Starfleet captains, just so I can do a comparison of them all and compare them to the I'm tempted as whether I do put them in as their individual key ships, individual key leaders, or I do them as a group. Or if I just suddenly, you think there's a very serious officer coming up. Because one of the problems for me, believe it or not, there aren't that many female naval leaders that I can go and point to as from a naval history perspective. Not ones that many have done well. I've got all sorts of interesting characters, but not that many for history. Mainly because modern command structures and the whole thing it's only recently that it's become really viable. It's as things have shifted more and more to brain power being the important thing rather than your ability to, I don't know, be a bit of a pack mule. And, that things have really shifted to be balanced and equal that way. So there aren't really many female senior officers for me to point to. So Janeway becomes kind of important. And I know I should probably be talking about the more recent one as well, but honestly, of all the Star Treks I have ever watched, the recent Star Trek with Spock's sister in it, having read the books with those details in there and things, I couldn't be more disappointed and thing with some of the stuff. I say books, I mean I've read some of the stuff online. I think they're books, but they were very, very long Kindle things. But I know it was just of can't we do a bit better? Oh, the thing is also, there's quite a lot of women behind the scenes, but it's trying to find out the information about them to talk about them. So you're one of the things I often talk about with the admiral staff and the captain staff. People often wonder, how do admirals in the Age of Sail cope without a staff? Well, how are they sending out 20, 30 letters? And in the movies, they'll go, well, their wife wasn't aboard, etc. Well, their wives and daughters often are aboard for the battles, and often are part of their fleet. So what are they doing? Well, they're often acting as the admiral's staff. And, you know, if you receive a letter from an admiral with a set of instructions that have been sent to you by letter, well, if the admiral's written that letter out, instead of the admiral writing it out 30 times themselves to every ship across their fleet, or sending a letter as a round robin which is slowly taken around, the captain's wife, the admiral's wife, their daughters will, and sometimes if there's other officers aboard who might have their wives and daughters aboard, their wives and daughters will all be usually able to read, write, and they will write it out. And quite a lot of the communications when we read them, we go, hang on, this is not that admiral's handwriting. And this is the original letter, and this is... Oh, so this must have been X, Y, or Z. The first officer in Strange New Worlds is very good again. I don't know. Honestly... The thing that annoyed me with it's Discovery, and it's the ones prior to Strange New Worlds that they introduced Captain Pike, the modern Captain Pike, and etc. in. The thing that really annoyed me about it was that they had all these good characters, and occasionally you'd have flicks through of the actors' capabilities and the characters' potential, but it often seemed in spite of the writing, not because of the writing. We're in Stargate, yes, but the trouble is, there's also Colonel Carter in Stargate. Well, gentlemen, actually, if you look at them, they have them. If you actually look at, if you divorce the character from some of the writing and the plot lines which they wrap around them, and actually look at the character in its what the character is supposed to be and what they are in the round, you'd realise that's a good character, but it's terrible, terrible writing. And that's the thing with Discovery. It was just... Sometimes it was literally a case of, give me strength, someone please. Yeah, chances of seed is 100% now. So let's start off with looking at what's going to be the next one. Naval invasion of France. Corsica. Yes. And then I'll take... Oh, no, Sardinia's Italy. Basically, I'm just taking France. I'm just taking the French territories. Unrest is going down. That's good. Armor forging is done. Special machinery is done. Turret mechanisms. What's coming through on turret mechanisms? Naval gun barrels number 6. Oh yes, that'll do. That'll do. Oh, I want that. I want that. I want the longer guns. Advanced naval shells. I will take that. Anything to improve my ships. Anything to improve my ships will do. I would argue it's kind of like you're seeing in some branches of academia at the moment with writers. In that you either have to play the game massively in terms of the internal politics of universities, and please note, don't ascribe external political fights to what's internal political fights. No, it's a case of are you going to work with a certain department? Are you going to work with this? Your internal university political fights are far more vicious. And whilst external political arguments and things might interact with those internal political fights, you have to play along with those. Or if you opt out because you just don't see the point in getting involved in them, you very quickly find yourself becoming the target for everyone because they see, well, hang on, if you're not going to be an ally to us, we'll get rid of you so we can maybe get an ally in. Whereas it used to be quite possible to avoid them. It used to be quite possible, especially even with contract lecturers from like myself. It used to be very possible for me to basically go, I'm a contract lecturer, I have no beef in this game. Leave me be. I don't care. I once had to give a full... Ended up, almost having a debate with a group of colleagues at one university I no longer work for. This was a lot longer back. I was only there for about a semester. And they didn't renew my contract. But the whole discussion was sort of going on, this, and I was going... and they were going, I don't know, because I was working at the time. I had contracts in two different departments, and I was helping out both departments. And they were literally, I was in a meeting with one department. They said, "Oh, you don't know how you can work with them. They're terrible." I went, "They've all been fine to me." Well, how can you say that? Nicest way, there might be a dispute going on between the departments, but I don't work with the departments. I work for the departments, and I work with individuals. And the individuals on both sides have been perfectly fine and perfectly nice. So, as long as everyone's professional, I don't have any problem. And my paycheck's signed. I'm not getting into it. And that led to me having to deal with a 30-minute rant. And that is what I'll describe as. It was a 30-minute rant from a deputy head of department, basically going, how can you like them, this. And all the stuff they were listing off, and I was sitting there going, I was mentally going, I'm just waiting for you to tell me that they all smell and they all do number 2s in their trousers or something like that. It was that petty. And the person who was doing the rant was, I kid you not, in their 50s. And I was just looking at him going, you are an absolute twit. There is no point bothering about this. So yeah, my view has always been, I care about how you act as an individual to me. That is my major thing. If I see you treating people like waitresses or the waiters or the staff in a restaurant or a hotel in a rude manner, I'm not going to form a good impression of you. I watch how people treat their people who are below them, serving on them, whatever you want to call it, and how people treat them above them. If that gives me the impression you're a two-faced character, I won't like you. And I watch how you treat me and how you treat others, That's it. That's how I'll base my assessment off on you. I don't care about anything else. Anything else is a facet of who you are, but it doesn't really matter. But no, modern universities are very much internal politics. Because I would say the sort of thing was Spike, Steve. I would say with universities, the thing is you have to remember, because the prizes are so small, the fights are vicious. One of the things they've noticed in a lot of studies is when you shrink down the prize, the level of fighting actually gets more vicious. When the pie that everyone is fighting over is larger, more people can get enough of what they need. So they tend to share more. You shrink the pie down, people get more and more nasty because there is not getting enough of the pie or any of the pie becomes a real possibility. So in universities, especially as you've had universities spending more and more money on things which I would argue are not really for the university. Um, when some of the public-private finance partnerships on student accommodation, etc., have been absurd. Um, and then they, yes, the limited resources are an issue, but also it's the way they act over limited resources. The way, to a certain extent, you have the departments trying to act like, well, I'm humanities. Yes, my PhD is war studies. I'm a historian. What I study helps to hopefully inform better decision making for people when they're making decisions. And on that level, it's important. Okay, I will say on that level it's important. But also, what I need to do my study is basically let me go to an archive and leave me alone to do it. But the trouble is, because of the way funding has now got in universities, if I put that in as my funding submission, I would never get my funding for research. Because it's got nothing new. It's got nothing exciting. So I have to say I need time with a supercomputer. I need time with this. I need time with this. I need to have this fancy technique and that fancy technique and all these things in order to actually get everything. And it just doesn't work. NordVPN. That's got 15.5 inch on this, 15.5 inch. Oh, goodness gracious me, that's not good for them. Oh well, let's go do this fight. And that's pretty much the problem. The problem comes down to, yes, there's limited resources, but there's also the way now research funding is funded and the way it's checked off is absurd. It really is. And I talk to people and they're going, yes, and all this research, one of the other things that's really caused interesting research is they go, does it have immediate commercial value? And the thing is, a lot of university research doesn't usually have immediate commercial value. Usually what happens is university goes and research, at university level, you research something. And then that something has possibilities. And then commercial interests research that something and turn it into something of commercial value. Not the university tries to produce something of immediate commercial value. Although, having that discussion is interesting sometimes. And that's really the problem. It's the criteria have got all mucked up in universities. That was the finding of graphene here, and I understand now they have a heap. Yes. Hello, random Dale fan. So this is on with the 15-inch guns, isn't it? And that's the 10-inch guns. I think. See, the screening force is now upwind of me. So they are up fret. Hello, Chaos Runner. You know, yeah, universities are... I also find it interesting how to say, the closer you get to London in the UK, the more the universities are interesting. And then the central London universities are are probably the least affected by it. So Canada's doing okay. Let's watch it then. 15:30 here. It's 2:30 here. And I'll be playing till roughly 4 o'clock, because I've been told I have to stay out of the house that long for my sister to cook lunch. Because apparently I was backseat cooking. All I did was make sure she had decent vegetables. Remember that she hadn't stuck the meat into marinade overnight, so I stuck it into marinade at about 3 AM in the morning. And my sister is... My mum is watching my sister. But usually it's me who does the Mother's Day cooking. Usually it is me. Isn't it backseat cooking? It's backseat cooking is what we classify it as. Hey, it's a 15.5-inch gunship. Don't get down to 10 kilometers with a Canada, mate. Don't. It's not good for you. You might win the fight, but you'll get so heavily damaged you will never stand a chance of getting out of the fight. Yeah, that's why you don't get close in range to Canada. As you can see, Canada does not take nicely to you trying to beat her up. Canada, it goes full Canadian on you. This is what happens when a Canadian goes full Canadian on you. Catherine, it's 00:30 hours for me. I'm working closing shifts, so this is normal cycling. Excellent. What scenario are we in today? We are doing our the campaign. When a Canadian has decided they are no longer going to apologise to you, that is the point at which you run. Also, I'd like to point out this small fact. The Australians fought and lost the war against the emus. The Canadians have never even tried to fight the Canadian geese. They know there's no chance of victory. So which is scarier, the emu or the Canadian goose? Try and figure that one out, chat. Which is scarier, the emu or the Canadian goose? Hello, we are Faris. What are we doing? We are doing the campaign and slowly sinking the entire French Navy. Simple emu are infantry, Canadian geese are air force. Dunedin, what are you up to? Oh, you've been single-handedly trying to wipe them all out, have you? You're out of torpedoes. Yeah, you've been single-handedly trying to wipe them all out, haven't you? Oh. Canada, go save Dunedin. I don't want to lose a D class. We had an ongoing low-intensity conflict of killing geese here in Amazonia. It's gone deliciously. Cool. 46 ships and a fleet of 4. That's good. Yeah, I have designed a heavy cruiser theoretically to wipe out the French Navy. It might or may not have started life as a battle cruiser. Oh. Look, I've had this discussion with the security guards of National Archives. And I've said, how do they feel about their night security? They said, well, if anyone wants to try and get past the Canadian geese, they're more than welcome to. But last time some protesters tried to get past them in the middle of the night, they found the protesters being held up against the wall by the Canadian geese. I'm not sure what they were protesting, but the security basically had to protect the protesters from the geese. Oh, you're on with 10-inch guns. How cute. You have 10-inch guns. That is cute. That is cute. This is 15-inch guns. You are called Democrate? Oh. I leave you alone for 5 seconds and torpedo comes in. Ay, caramba. I hate the torpedoes, I really do. I'm gonna have to build a new Canada after this, aren't I? Canada, I think, is gone. Which is annoying, because she's the namesake of her class. Go and... I would say avoid enemy ships. And let's take you to... Yeah. Those light cruisers are probably going to put the last torpedo butt into Canada. That's what I'd be doing with them. But the thing is, losing a battleship is annoying for me. Losing 2 battleships for the French is terminal. Is Canada still afloat? If I manage to keep Canada alive, I will be so shocked. It'll be literally thanks to HMS Magnificent and Lion, but they will be Magnificent Lions. The Magnificent Lions will have done the job if Canada survives. Because Canada really shouldn't survive. Democracy sinks. Sinking. They're afloat. That's sinking. That's sinking. Yeah. Oh, good. You know, you can now cross. You now can cross. Well, yes, the mini map is good. Who needs a nuke when you have migratory Greece? Oh yeah, I can imagine using geese rather than dog patrols. They make a lot more noise and they are a lot more lethal. Dogs actually have taste in their mouth. They can detect flavor. There are places the dog does not want to bite. A geese? No qualms. And you might ring 1 or 2's next, but the other 90, 90 odd will get you. Neptune's gone. And if I'm not mistaken, Canada is still afloat. Oh. Here's the question. So, now we're discussing geese and we've discussed emus. Which do we think is probably the most dangerous, I would say, herd animal, because there's always more trouble when there's more than one of them. Let's be honest, if there's one animal, you can maybe avoid it, etc. If there's a herd, you can, or flock, you have more trouble. You know, we talked about an emu, we talked about a geese. What's the most dangerous one we can think of? What's the group most likely to rip us apart? Magpies, goats. I can see goats. One of my cousins has a goat farm. Oh, good lord, they are fun animals. They can and will go anywhere. Canada is still afloat. I don't know how Canada survived. What am I building my ships like? Oh, good lord. Donkeys are... No. Donkeys are good guard animals. I mean, you have a couple of donkeys in with your flock, and Lord help anything which tries to attack that flock. A donkey will take out quite a lot of predators, quite happily. And you look at a donkey and you go, but it's a donkey, it's friendly. It's not friendly if you annoy it. They are mean and they kick like mules. And because they are, you know. Right, so. Oh, ship. Right then, let's go to politics to check on that. And in construction, what I've got going on in construction terms. Got a lot of stuff turning up for actually fix and maintenance in a second. We are using freehand. Oh, well, I've got capacity left, so I can build some more things. That's useful. I don't need turret mechanisms around. Explosives. What's the explosive increase? Oh, smoke composition 7. Ah, increase the duration of smoke screen generation. That could be useful for some ships. Anything else more interesting to come along? Control station. What are we working on? Next discovery's not clear yet. What's that one? 18-inch guns! It is 18-inch guns I'm now working on for. Box jellyfish travel in herds. Yes, they do. And let's be honest, box jellyfish are not nice to take on. They really aren't. Yeah, I've got 181 provinces. I'm pretty much bigger than everyone else combined. At this point, this game is not so much a fight as it is me having fun. So the Empire is expanding. Yes, I believe that Wikipedia was right when it said you two can help to expand this list on the British Empire. This is my heavy cruiser design. Do they still use builder models? Yes, they do. In fact, when we go to the conference, the Future Leaders conference, that's usually a big part of it, being able to see those models. This is probably one of the most survivable ships I have ever built as a battlecruiser. It's not an Indomitable though, it's a heavy cruiser. So it's let's see. Anything I can upgrade. Gen 2 radar, that's fine. Sonar. Yeah, that's all good. So it's gonna get very accurate hits on its targets. It's not got any torpedoes, doesn't need them. Humans' worst herd animal by far to meet enraged. Yeah, the amount of science fiction programs which begin with they killed they attempted to hurt human children or children in the presence of humans. And we then go absolutely on them. And you sit there and go, yeah, that is actually one fairly common thing. In fact, in as far as humanity is concerned, hurting kids is the lowest thing you can do. Only 4 ads this time. any of them survived that fight, that's what has gone wrong. Oh, good lord. Let's fight this one. Let's do this battle. Oh. Yeah, my Malice Muffin just tried to attack my sister's cat for a solid wood ceiling. That takes skill. You know my problems. The only thing I pursue is my painkillers. Hey, look, yeah, I can understand that one. Da-da-da-da. Somewhere out here there is a light cruiser, which has been frigating around. And now it's about to find out. It's not unconditional surrender I want. It's that they were my ally, and then they decided not to be my ally, and then they decided to attack me. I'm making an example of them. I wiped out the Germans because they got in a bad tiff with them. Literally. I defended them from the Russians and wiped out the Russians. See a theme going on here? So then they decide to turn on me and attack me? I'll make an example of them. This is the reason why the Japanese, who also ended the alliance with me, are deciding to get friendly with me and try and rebuild that alliance. They pulled the Kaiser. Yes, they did. They pulled the Kaiser. And now I'm pulling something else here on them. Ooh. This is the closest you get to a F3 design. Oh, this is good. Oh, she looks good. I like her. If they think the ship's over there, why are the guns pointing in that direction? Oh, spotted her. No, we're not turning sideways on because it might give better firing profile. It won't exactly help us find her, and she's going to go smoky and trying to run away. So if we go side on, yeah, we have more easier firing angle, but it doesn't really help us, does it, in this situation? And this thing is running as fast as it can. And I can understand it doing so, because that's pretty much its only option, is to run as fast as it can. And apparently that was a 15-inch shell just hit it. That's not good for you. You have a theoretical top speed. I doubt you're doing it. Oh, another shell just hit. And some more are coming in. Oh, one ricocheted. And yeah, you are starting to reverse the flooding, but that's still not a good position to be in. Yeah, this is the height of the French Navy at this point. This is another reason why I do not appreciate them deciding to stab me in the back and attack me. I find it insulting. Overshot. So, they're going to be in 21 kilometers of range, and the next one down from that is 15.6 kilometers for the 6-inch guns. So, this is not good for them. Napoleon will be taught jealous. There are many, many things which I find annoying at the moment in the world. One of them is, I honestly am starting to think whether or not you actually need to give you need to give politicians longer terms. Instead of them being 4 or 5 years, they need to be 8 or so years. Because the trouble is, 4 years they can cut them. They can manage to do fake economics and boot them up at each other's election. 8 years is long enough. They actually have to live with their own consequences. So they might actually have to think something, broadly speaking, long term. But the trouble is, I'm fairly sure they'll find a way around that if they give them that time long enough. I just don't know what to do. I haven't yet had a chance to play around with the new hulls much because I didn't let it upgrade yesterday because I was doing I was finishing off testing, so it's only upgraded this morning. You see, I'd say 8, and the reason I say 8 is because I want to slot in the various elections at the different levels. Yes, that's the trouble with Chaos Runner, but honestly, you can't win either way. I think with 8 years, you get a lot more single term, single term members of parliament, etc. Because if you do a second term, it's going to be 16, which could lead you to having a lot more of a turnover. I'd also, as I said, I've also fundamentally believed that the UK should have a elected second house, where the elected second house is done in proportion to the results of the actual. You do the first past the post election in the UK to elect them MPs. And then that elects the constituency MPs, and the second house is made up of. First of all, you take all those votes together that have been people voted in that election, and you divide it into percentages, and that's your second house based on percentages. But more importantly, the percentages, the people who are chosen are the people who were the first losers from the constituency races. So they're not selected by, let's say, Parliament by the parties. They have to have done well. So it makes your vote count in twice, really, because it makes your vote count in terms of you add into the whole percentage of the MPs. But even if you vote for a candidate in your area who loses in your area, if they get the most, they get enough votes, they're still going to be one of the people put into the second chamber, and that makes it a far stronger government system, to my mind. Oh. Admiral of the Navy, in recognition of his victory at Manila Bay in 1898 during the Spanish-American War. Ah, yes, George Dewey. And that's the other thing. This is typical U.S. Congress, okay? And I do find it fun that they basically go, we are going to pick. Oh yes, you have done really well, so we are going to make you the Admiral of the Navy, and no one's ever going to be able to give you a rank. Sit there and go, well, honestly, didn't Nimitz deserve that similar title? No, we can't do that. Because let's be honest, there are a few people who do actually slightly better victories than Manila Bay. And mainly it's a status thing, because they're also making him achieve a rank higher than those admirals who fought in the in the Civil War. It's just, yeah. It's fun. That should do. So if we can't send some more... Could possibly send all these. Let's see if we can do. Yep, send all those. It's... Yeah. Emergency repairs to the greenhouse done. Good. Run down fun. I might display if the power goes out. Yeah. That happens a lot in life. So I am here. Still cannot go over this edge. Have to click up to here. I don't mind that, but it would make it easier if I could, I don't know, this would be useful if I could highlight my bases or something on here so I could see sort of where my stuff is on there a bit better. And let's start the naval invasion of Algeria. Battleship, 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 battleship. Oh. And send all them. That should make a nice fun time for people. I have got ships all over the place, and I keep forgetting where I have them. There you go. I probably will get to some of the flying boats for the key aircraft series. Yes, the Guardsman 14. If you click the scroll on the right top, that is useful, I do admit. I can see all of it is. Yeah, that might be a common theme going on. There's the America. Yeah, there's America. There's Denmark. There's Portugal. French territory is getting a lot smaller. A lot smaller. If I invade I'm going to invade northern Algeria next, and I'm taking Corsica. And then we have Austria, Galicia, and southern France. If they lose southern France, so they cease to exist. And at what point should I just take Germany, just for the hell of it? So then I've wiped out all of them. Politics. The major minor powers. Let's see. rid of two of them, then this just becomes a decidedly smaller group. Germany's not on here anymore. Although Germany is. There's Germany. And there's France. They have 18 provinces and 21 ports. They have 1 province and 4 ports. I have 181 provinces and 200 ports. I have interesting relationships with Italy at this point, but I am not too worried about Italy because the active fleet of the Italians is 4 submarines. So, whilst they are building 22 ships, I will worry about Italy when they get a navy. America currently equals me in terms of battleship numbers, which is annoying. They exceed me in battlecruiser numbers, but I'm not building battlecruisers, I'm building heavy cruisers. They have more cruisers than me, heavy cruisers. They have more light cruisers than me. They have less destroyers than me, and they have a lot less submarines than me. Which might be why they're keeping very far back, because let's be honest, no one wants to come that close to my submarines. I'm not sure if I'm keen on that design scenario, so I might not push that one. I might just leave that one to develop itself. What's the torpedo tubes? What are we developing? Mark IV torpedo tubes. Tempting. Summary improvements. Silent proof tube still. Okay, I have some depth charges. I think I'm going to leave it all. Sometimes the best thing is to not use your enhanced boost of development. Nations cease to exist if you hold their ports. I found out when I conquered Germany before they could even think of World War I. How did France end up with Austria? Well, remember what I said that France ended up in a war with Germany and I basically pulled them out of the fire? One of the things they got was Austria. Also, Austro-Hungary ceased to exist quite early on in this game. Top speed. What's the top speed? Can do 38 knots. It's going to run away. High speed. Leave it to me to do that. Right, and take that off that, and that off that, and leave that. Ooh, destroyer design. Is there an improved destroyer coming? A 3,000-ton destroyer. We can see what it produces, but I have a feeling it'll be my light cruiser design. That's honestly not a honestly not a light cruiser destroyer design option again, being pursued shortly. If France or Russia have been the aggressors in World War I, then you have to remember the Entente is a defensive, not even an alliance, it's an agreement. And there are enough people in the UK who are opposed to it that it wouldn't have worked. Basically, Britain would have gone towards a secure Belgium neutrality, and that's about it. Because from Belgium, you can invade Britain. Any plans this campaign to take on America? I probably will do at some point, but I'm dealing with France first. My plan is to deal with France and then position my forces around America and basically go for... Because America is the one which is closest to me in fleet strength. Their surface ships are actually theoretically a stronger force than mine are. Go on. I was watching Graf Zeppelin's proposed teeth. I then remembered the problems Germany had with at Narvik with torpedoes, and just thought of the German sailors just shaking their heads and just never wanting to use them. One of the interesting things is the amount of people who are blaming Goering for that, and I was sort of going, I'm going to do a video at some point about German torpedo development, because it comes up, sorry, point. We're talking about German carrier doctrine, and actually, the German Navy was responsible for the development of aerial torpedoes. The Luftwaffe, the Air Ministry, was responsible for the development of aircraft, but it was the... Hello, sorry, someone's cut the pot to my door. It was the Navy which was responsible, the Reichsmarine, Kriegsmarine, which was responsible for the development of torpedoes. Just give me a second. Someone's come to my door. What do they want? Hello, what's wrong? Pot needed to be quickly moved. Ay, caramba. These things happen. These things happen. Eh. No, just a pot needed to be quickly moved. I'm guessing my mum decided a pot needed to be quickly moved, so sent my sister out to do it. My sister couldn't do it. And while my sister was wandering around and coming for my help, my mum's probably done something quickly to the food being cooked. Not sure what she'll have done, but knowing my mum, she's quickly rectified something. Oh. Okay. Okay, close. Building 22 battle cruisers currently, repairing 3 battleships. Finances. Let's go to ship design. Actually, no, let's go to fleet. Because then I'm gonna have to surge out some more destroyers at some point just to really wind up the Americans. Not that I actually use them for things, but just because if I have them, then it looks scary. I have about 6 months until my battle cruisers start coming, my heavy cruisers start coming online, and 20 months for those. Right, honest question, and meant in the best way. Has your sister ever taken cooking class in a formal setting? Oh, yes. Look, we're not suggesting that again. It was not a good experience for anyone. Especially not the poor people trying to do the cooking class. That was just a bad experience for all round, really. Ugh. Hey, caramba. What are we getting? Ooh, post 3D stabilization. Oh, I like that. I want that. I want that now. I think you need more subs. Potentially. I do. My sister has got a lot better. Please note, she has got a lot better. She is trying very hard. She's worked very, very hard. She is definitely a lot better. Hopefully. Doing a lot better. So let's see. That's 2 hours. We'll take it to... Yeah. Yeah, I'm finishing at... I have just had a message come through from my mum going, "You're finishing at 4 o'clock, right?" Yes. One of those questions that's not a question. No, it's not. It's not. I do like the mine layer submarines. They are good. I have to say this is freezing a bit more than it did on the 1.4. And I know I've got a hefty duty machine because I designed this is when I did put this together. I did it with the whole thing of doing editing of video, so it's got hefty RAM capacity and things like that. Very hefty RAM capacity. And this is taxing things. The time is 3:30 for me, roughly. Just let the world just simmer along. What's the boilers? There's a boiler coming. Oh, that could be interesting. Oh. And an engine coming. Internals protection, hull protection, gun layouts coming. Something's coming on there. Ooh, this is going to be good. Right. Oh yeah, Austria, thanks to the involvement of the British in attacking the French, the rebellion succeeded. That's good. Yeah, that's right. I really do hope we can kill daylight savings. We basically 24-hour kind of unneeded and annoying. You see, from my perspective, I like daylight savings from the historical value of it, and it does link Area 1 in to an extent with the reality of the agrarian economy, which we all depend on for food. So it's nice from that front. It reminds people, hang on, this is why we have this. But I also do agree. that there is a certain point at which you're going, are you sure you should be doing this? Also, trades can benefit from, yeah. And again, going to school in the dark, it does prevent that. So it's a case of, one of the things that I often find is people think it's the losing an hour is annoying. The gaining an hour is useful. I'd also say, as the only boy and many cousins, I prefer it that when my cousins went to work go to work in the daylight. There tends to be less of a worry going on. Don't! This is... I'm gonna do this fight, but... Oh, they can only do 30 knots. This is not good for them. I'm gonna do this fight, but that's mainly because I'm cruel. Even I admit this is a bit nasty. I can understand. I think... Let's put it this way. The thing I'd like to see more of, and this is going to sound strange because it does get me into trouble sometimes saying this, I'd say you need to honestly assess whether your job needs to be on site or not. I would argue quite a lot of office workers should and could be encouraged to work from home if the homes were fitted up correctly. And that would be an environmental save in terms of people on the roads, etc. You know, not having to use the fuel, not having to do those things, and economic save in that regard. But also, you would have those buildings wouldn't have to be quite so massive. But one person turned around and said, "Well, what about all the trades and people who have to work in factories? It's terrible to them if the people who work in offices don't have to go to offices." And I went, well, not really, because in nicest way, if you ask quite a lot of those people who work in factories, etc., what is their most annoying pet peeve? It's the amount of blooming people clogging up the roadways when they're trying to get to work. If you take away a lot of the people who are just doing 9 to 5 sitting in an office from the roads, you're going to make their trip to and from work a lot easier. Buses, trains, all those things are going to be a lot nicer. So, it's like, I love teaching history. I love the environment of actually doing a seminar in person, all these things. But even I admit that you could probably deliver most of the lectures by recorded lectures that people could watch through when they needed to, and then do the seminars in person. And you could cut down quite a lot of the time requirement for people to be in university, so they could do a part-time job if they wanted, or they could work part-time while going for university, or, balance it around more their lives more easily. And you could also have the lecturers work from home more, because that would be quite a viable system. There are all sorts of reasons it's nicer to have, and I swear half the reason people like having people coming into offices these days is because the managers like being able to look out and survey their office and go, oh yes, they're all my minions, they'll work for me. It gives me a power boost to look at them and see them. I don't really think that's a good idea. I think you could do a lot of work, you could get a lot done with those people maybe coming in 1 day a week. Yeah. Well, there's the fact that I would never be... This is one of the things. I don't work well in an office environment. And I know that. This might be colouring my view in some regards. But oh, I have a lot of light crews in this one. It's a case of I don't. So that's one of the reasons why I went in academia, went into history and all those things. But also one of the reasons why my other backup career, if you consider them our trades, it's things like being a carpenter, etc. I do consider sometimes the idea of being a school teacher. My main problem with being that is the sheer amount of paperwork. So, if I take the 19.3 knot is Vancouver, and I stick that in there, and I take the 27 knot, .3 knot. Hang on, no. If I stick all the 32 knots in here, Voyager goes into here, and all the .3s, Yarra, Restless, and Vancouver go into the next one. Yarra. So they're 33.2. That goes into the fastest one. 33.2 is Red Pool. That's you. And these go into that, and that. Then this one. They're all 29.3. So they all go into that one. Hang on. Vanquisher, Minion, and Red Pool can I do 33.2. So I need a 29.3s, Badger, White Bear, and Phoebe out. They're 29.3. They're 19.3. They're... Well, Paladin should go next door. Minstrel's 32. Max them speed up. Max their speed up. Max their speed up. Do, do, do. Nothing can do more than 19.3 knots than them. Max their speed up. And have these on... Actually... Have them on follow. Actually, set them to scream. Right. Let's do that and see how they're cracking. Catherine, being a university based as a school teacher with some students. Basically, being a university lecturer, I often describe as this. You are your own exam board. So you have to maintain standards, yes. But you, in many ways, write your own course, write the structure of the course, put it together. And sometimes you're executing others' courses, but you really develop it yourself. And you don't have to deal with the same level of paperwork as a school teacher has to deal with. You also have the advantage that your students are over 18. Usually. Which means that a lot of the issues you have of dealing with children, whereby parents will come charging in, you are dealing with the fact that the kids said one thing and the and told the parent something's happened. The kids told the parent one thing, and the reality is very different, and you're having to explain the difference between these things to the parents. You can avoid. What you mostly find yourself dealing with, although still some parents do come in, and mostly it's mums of sons, honestly, that come in. Mostly mums of sons that will come in and say hello, and but have issues, and then you sort of deal with it. It's fun. So I still want to go to my... I mean, it's not having people around me when I'm working. I had enough to look at the same four walls on my own. I can understand that, and I think it should be open to people to do what they want to do, really. I like the idea of working from home, but there again, I like the idea of working from home, and I'm antisocial, and I admit this is me. It's the 2 hours of travel per day can be annoying. Yeah, I spent the last 3 years in a fully remote position, enjoying it. Sadly, I had to switch to a fully on-site position. I'll admit that on-site is needed for my training, but other than that, it feels like the position can easily be switched to at least 50% remote with no loss in work quality. I think you should be able to, as I said, for office workers, I'd like to see it being a case of you choose what you do. And there are going to be some criteria. There's going to be some offices which require a level of security, which means you don't want to have the work going on at home. You don't want to do it remotely. In which case, that's fully understandable as well. It's trying to make everything into a one-size-fits-all solution. That's the problem. Girlfriend, I'd love to work from home, but I doubt I'm going to be allowed to remote deliver pizza with a drone. Actually, let's make them scout. And let's make them scream. I'm going to have you all going in front doing your thing, but, if you start bashing into a battleship, I am going to be annoyed with you all. There are workarounds. I support people working remotely, even if it's impossible for me. But it does make it a pain to arrange a chat with HR for me, as they do work remotely in my company. You see, I can see that. But also the thing is, I would say that's a scenario where I would go, well, why not have a hybrid? So you have basically one person in the office a day from HR to make sure there's always someone on site for people to pop into and talk to. And, you know, that, again, that would... The whole thing is, it's about allowing people to work efficiently, allowing people to work in the way which suits them best when it's viable for that scenario. It's kind of like with the trades. I like doing carpentry, but if I was going to stand up myself up doing carpentry, I'd probably be doing furniture making, and I'd probably do it from a workshop in the back of my house. Because again, that's how I'd like to work, and how I'd like to do it. I wouldn't want to do... I have worked on a building site doing carpentry. I have assisted in it. Another of the many jobs I've done during my life, because I have a policy that if I am without income, I go find work. And I have I have a nice range of skill sets, so I can usually find work. I'm not the type of person who likes to sit around and go, oh, I'll wait for work. No, I will get a work to keep me going until I find a better job. That is more in it's either sort of more to my liking or rather more in my professional training. And I did it. They were perfectly fine people to work with. Is it something I would prefer to do? No, because it wasn't the type of carpentry I like, mostly. And also because I found myself very quickly being used by the master carpenter on site, and there was one who's a very good one. And basically he was going, you actually know how to make these things look nice and do them properly. Yes. Can you go fix that? Can you go fix that? Can you go fix that? And I spent most of my time, rather than actually doing stuff myself, going and fixing stuff which other people had done, and it looked bad, wrong, or this is just not right. I was like, I admit, this is not probably the nicest looking set of shells in the world. But I'm quite proud of that, because I made it using offcuts and wood which was left over from building of the offices. So to me, it looks very nice, because I haven't let the wood go to waste. I haven't wasted the wood. I have found a way to use it to make it look, to fulfill this function, and it has built something which is, I would argue, is pretty well, you know, is very strong, very solid, and certainly takes a lot of weight. And I would say it looks about as nice as you could make it look. So I'm happy with it. But a lot of the people I was working with on site, you know, I will still, because I won't use his name, but the guy who was the master carpenter. We sit there looking at it going, do they really think that's how that's supposed to look? Well, the only carpentry they've ever done assembling things like shelving, etc., has come from IKEA. Okay. And IKEA stuff can look really nice if done right, and if positioned right and used right. But, yeah. Fixer is not a nice job. No, it's not. Where is Hergadia? Titania X. Okay, I have to go find Hergara. Bilbao, La Corona, Vela, Brest, Hardia, Hergera. Where is Hergera? Okay, that is a new port even to me. It's in Egypt. Why do I have a fleet sitting in Egypt? Why has my fleet of repulsed battleships, etc., suddenly shifted to Egypt? Four battleships, 12 light cruisers, and 15 destroyers have suddenly disappeared to Egypt. Why? Well, I know I had that fun earlier when something decided to go on a trip to Spain. That naval invasion's going fine. That naval invasion's going fine. They're going to be over shortly. Politics. Can I do another naval invasion of France? Oh, I can do. Let's do southern France. So next turn, that should start up. Southern France should. And then I'll be able to send a massive fleet to southern France, which will back up the army in their invasion of France, and France will cease to be a problem for me. Because I will have conquered all of France, so surely at that point the French should cease to exist. And what's the border? Big Funnels 5. That's nice, but not really. That's something I'm going to really worry about. Turret mechanisms. Small gun barrels. Don't really need to worry about that, because I don't use many of those, so I'm not really going to bother about that. Gun layout. Advanced bulkhead protection 2. That's useful for improving the survivability of my ships. Naval communications, what's this one going to be? Marine VHF radio. Oh, yes, I'm going for that. Maneuver warfare. What's maneuver warfare options coming through? Rangefinder, special training. Oh, yes. Yes, we're going for that. Oh, that's going to be a good time. They wanted a sunny holiday. I'm going to have to try and get that that fleet out of Egypt, aren't I? Without invading Egypt. I should now have control of northern Algeria, though, and Corsica. Which should allow them me to invade southern France. And with the help of the army already doing their invasion, that should be interesting. Got 6. They have torpedo boats. What a result that fight. Because that should be... How did I lose a ship in that fight? Okay. Move them. Move them. And I have to... How can I get this fleet out of here when they won't come out? Move! Move, move. I don't want to move you. Oh, why are you sitting in Egypt? Being annoying to me. That's just annoying. They wanted a sunny holiday. I know you've talked about this already, but it's annoying for me right now. Do I have to send another fleet to go and pick you? Go and pick them up? Ooh, that's a big centre of French control. Patang. And let's go see if I can... Can I do some another invasion of France than I'm doing already? No. Let's try and improve relations with the Italian Empire, mainly because they're the only ones other than the French who I have a bad relationship with. And let's see, fleet, I should be not far off finishing those ships. They are 2 months away, and then I will order a load of destroyers. Where's all the good castles? Just raw things. My fleet suddenly turned up in Egypt, and it's in a port where apparently I can't get them out of. Oh, good lord. Well, it's like, I have this IKEA. Let's see, can I... Wrong way. If I do this, there is a huge piece of IKEA furniture up on this wall. You know? That's it. It's up there. And they recommend you use 2 screw bolt systems to hold it in place. I've used 4. Because I know how heavy the books are that I'm going to put into it. The point is, though, it works perfectly if you do it that way. And you give it that level of support. It doesn't work otherwise. You know, you have to think through when you're using IKEA furniture. That one has... These have top speed of 24 knots. Well, that's just ought to resolve that fight, because it's probably not going to be a nice one. It's going to be a defeat. No, but that's mainly because I'm planning on using tonnage for other things. Don't need dead on that. Don't need dead on that. What's the mines up to? Advanced mines. We'll do the boilers and we'll do the mines now. Just because that gets them done. And the target mechanism, shall I? Not at this point, it's not worth my time. Let's see what's available next time. And that should build the first 10 battle cruisers. So now I can order 100 more brand new big destroyers. Ordering 100 destroyers. Yeah, that's going to wind up my American counterparts. They're just going to go, we hate you. I know. But I love me. Because in this game, it rocks. IKEA is great for teaching life skills. IKEA is great for starting stuff off and transitioning stuff. I would agree with you normally, Randomdale fan, but the thing is, and this is something I find with IKEA stuff, if you are moving into a property and you want something done quickly and to keep you going while you sort everything else on the property, it works well. As I've said, my plan is to use the IKEA stuff as the holder for however long I need it, while I get all the workshop and everything else set up. And then when I've got everything else in, and I'm going to be putting in some of the stuff myself. Honestly, the odds are I'm going to end up building the extension over the new garage we're putting in myself. The odds are I'm going to, which is going to be my bedroom and my primary bedroom and my primary ensuite. Or rather, wet room. Because that's what I'm getting. I'm not going to have a bath. I'm going to have 2 wet rooms in my annex. And those sort of things. I'm going to end up probably building myself. And therefore, I won't have necessary time to build the furniture for the first year to a year, 2 years we're in there. And then once we've been in there a couple of years, I've got the workshop all set up nicely, then I'll start building furniture. So it's like, you know, my bed in there is going to be a steel frame. Because it works for a while I need it, and then eventually it'll be replaced with something. Which has even more space for storing books underneath it. So, if I go to finances, I have now got 300,000 tons to do to play with. Ship design, let's go to the destroyers. Let's see if we can build a decent destroyer for 3,000 tons now. Oh, this is going to be fun. New design. 3,000 ton destroyer. Ooh. That looks good. Plus, I will be able to get a Blahaj. Or Blahai. And currently, my mother is now wanting one of those. She didn't realise IKEA did giant stuffed animals. Until someone told her. That someone being her latest person who she watches on the computer. Ay, caramba. This is basically an ASW destroyer in so many regards. That's looking very not British. That's sort of looking British. Wonder if we can do... that. Pitch and roll. Let's see. Increased is increased HO. Cat. Weight is way over what it needs to be. Okay. So let's start thinking what do we do to reduce weight. Take that down to double. Take that down to 4. Take the reinforce bulkheads down to 1. Take them down to many. Leave the anti-flood where it is, because that was always necessary. We have got 9 5-inch guns. Got all this gear which we need for this destroyer to be viable for us. So what do we do? I want that at 39 knots. I've got no torpedoes. What do I do? Do I need juice? No, I don't. Natural takes me down. Oh, I've got 70 knots remaining. Close. Should have a cigar. If I take that down to 37. So that's now 300 tons overweight. What can we do to save? Engine efficiencies 43%. Leave that like that. What can I do to reduce it? What can I do? I'm still 300 tons over. What can we do to drop the 300 tons down? It's not going to help me much with the job I'm asking to do. My dad got the best chair instructions ever. He told him that to take a break, and Doritos, and the best, and then had a joke halfway through that said, "I don't know why the Chinese can't draw the." That sounds like some very cool instructions. Range, yeah, those are good guns. Supposed to be able to build this up to 3,000 tons, and I'd like it 3,000 tons, but this is just not working, is it? Yeah, this design is just not working. Okay, let's go to the light cruisers. Let's get this done before I go in. I want to have made the order before I leave today, so I know what I'm building next time. I want to be building 300,000 tons of smaller ships to do anti-submarine warfare, patrol, and mine laying, and all those things around the world. I'll settle for 50, but I prefer 3,000. So let's go to new design. Why does your destroyer look like a battleship? Okay, no, my destroyer looked like a daring class. It's just I found tripled guns for it rather than twins. I don't want to. I want something which is going to be a cruiser design. One light cruiser. No, let's. I know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to basically do an update of the anti-submarine warfare cruiser, because that's the best option for me to do, light cruiser-wise, and I'm just going to do that. Ay, caramba. Then I've got my Honest Heavy Cruisers, honestly not a battle cruiser, not battle cruiser, Canada Lion, Fried Kipper. Let's update this, shall we? Daring on steroids. Pretty much. Darings, of course, traditionally have twin 4.5-inch guns. That was going to have triple 5-inch. You know. They haven't got auto for these yet. That's annoying. 21-inch, 20. And I don't have minesweeping for these. It's only destroyers which allow me to do the minesweeper. I do like having the minesweeper capability. Okay, let's see if we can't fix this. Let's go for 36 on the hull speed. Shallow draft. Wide beam. Why would I be putting coal in anything at the moment? Gear turbines. The best tower I can fit it with. A large secondary. So that's 29 tons. So it saves 9 tons per unit. Why is it looking the wrong way round? Yeah, I'm not going with that one. I'll go with that one. Yeah, that's the wrong way round. And there used to be a button I could press to twist things around, but that's not working at the moment. I'm twisting the ship around. Let's see. The main guns, at least one needed. That does look more like a British position. And why can I only get... What is this hull design? What hull am I in? Because this appears to be wrong to me. Something going on there. There is something going on. Something going on indeed. At least... No. That looks wrong. That does look wrong. R and T are supposed to do to turning objects. Well, that's not turning. I'm pressing R, I'm pressing T. Well, that's... considering these are going to be defensive assets, I'm not so bothered. I did think I was higher up on the sonar scale than that. And now it's only allowing me quad torpedo launchers rather than Quinn, has it? Just forgotten where I am on a tech tree. It's only allowing me twin turrets. I think I will build these, but I'm not planning on using them for any... I thought I put in 5-inch guns. I was sure I put in 5-inch guns. That's sort of getting there. Sort of. It's not quite as balanced as I'd like it to be. It's not quite as fast as I'd like it to be. It's not quite the operation I'd like it to be, but it'll do. And I can order 100 of these and put them everywhere I need to. Well, I'm in version 1.5, so I should have the new hull types. Look, occasionally some of my ships do look like they are stretched up trebles. A few of them have looked up like they're built up battles. And honestly, quite a lot of my ships do look like I'm building ships which are designed to engage in gunnery duels. But we'll leave that to one side. And let's order these, and then we'll I will go in and go help with the cooking. That should help. No one's not got too few crew. That's all good. Ordering another 100 destroyers should fix several problems I have currently. For starters, it gives me an extra... It turns me up to 345 destroyers. And I might order another 100 after that as well. Finances-wise... Conversely, I've still got roughly 100,000 tons of construction free. So I could order some more destroyers, if I wanted to. Or some more submarines, maybe. And let's see, the ocean submarine. Should I build some more of those? Tempting. Ocean-going submarine. That's 1,500 tons. So if I build... I've got roughly 90,000 tons. So that's 60. And that should make the point. So, yes. That should hopefully make the point to my American counterpart. Because if we go to politics... United States are probably have the largest GDP. They have the largest home population of anyone. I have the largest overall population of everyone, and I have the largest army of everyone. Their naval prestige is about a tenth of mine. Their provinces are 13. They have got similar levels of technology to me. Their oil production per capita is below mine. Their yearly army budget is below mine. Their yearly naval budget is well below mine, about 100 million different. Their naval funds are different. Their crew pool is larger than mine, although mine is growing at a greater rate, but I'm using more of mine. The main trouble I have is that they have similar numbers of battleships to me. They have more battle cruisers than I do. And my battle cruisers I'm building are actually heavy cruisers. Their 150 heavy cruisers dwarf my 59. Their 200 light cruisers dwarf my 128. My 245 destroyers beat theirs, and my 778 submarines beat theirs. So if I'm building more of those things and I churn them out enough, then my Navy's total tonnage goes up as well. Trouble is for me, again, with their Navy's total tonnage, is mine's 4,738,823 tons, and theirs is 6,930,415 tons. So they have about 220,000 more tons. Well, no, they have 2,200,000 more tons than I do in terms of ship's tonnage. So I need to build a lot more. Djibouti. So, thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I hope we will see you next week. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Blue Elvis. Thank you, everyone who's been watching. Thank you, Runon. Thank you, Guardsman14. Thank you, Random Dale Fan. Spike. Thank you, Chaos Runner. Thank you, Malaga. Thank you, Jonathan Moon. Thank you, who's else been on? Wayne. Thank you. Thank you, Random Dale Fan. Thank you, everyone who's been on. God, and goodness me, there's been a lot of people chatting away tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. And take care. Thank you for watching. Let's make sure we save this before we go. And just a heads up again for those who don't realise it, today is not going to be a YouTube Brew Ships as normal. There is going to be a premiere instead discussion. Mainly because it's Mothering Sunday and I have to go off to a family dinner. Take care, everyone. Take care and enjoy. Toodles. Yeah.